Going back, were you surprised that he was found in Pakistan? I mean, I think that's something that President Obama seemed to focus on Pakistan quite a bit more than President Bush. And were you surprised that it ended up being there with Pakistan, supposed to be our ally,
Sure.
and all of that?
I think we all were surprised. I mean, to hear, I think it's so ironic, or even, you know, the hypocrisy in the fact that, you know, Osama Bin Laden did not like our way of life, and yet here he is living in a mansion in Pakistan, when we all thought he was in a cave in, you know, on the border of Afghanistan and Pakistan. And so it is pretty incredible to think that he had been there. Who knows? Maybe he's been there the whole time, or been bouncing around. And
well, yeah, and it's a porous border from what we understand between the two. I wonder if he's been going back and forth.
Yeah, back and forth. But you have to think that somehow Pakistan did harbor him. You know, we're all hoping it's not their, you know, their leaders, but maybe some generals or people that have now sided with Al-Qaeda. And it just goes to show that this war on terror, even with Osama bin Laden gone, it'll still continue. And we can't put our guard down. We have to keep being vigilant, because there are people out there that want to hurt us. And we always have to protect ourselves and protect this nation, because it's an incredible country, and we're all so blessed to be a part of it. But I was very shocked to hear that he was in Pakistan. But you know, luckily we did have the cooperation of the Pakistani government to help us execute this strategy. So.
Well, I don't think I want to go too deep into the politics of it, you know, unless you're comfortable with it. I love talking politics, so I'll talk politics. But do you think it was ultimately the right thing to do to wage the war on terror, President Bush, to call it that, and you know, start us off with Afghanistan and then head on over to Iraq? Do you think all of that was the right thing to do?
You know, we could always go back and second guess. I mean, I think there was no doubt about it that the Taliban government in Afghanistan was harboring Al-Qaeda and Osama bin Laden, and that had to change. So that was an important step in this fight. And again, you know, Iraq, we could debate that all night long, and it certainly has not gone to plan, I think. But I think the goal for us is that if the more we can talk about the positives, I think President Obama did a great job last night of saying this was a targeted attack on Osama bin Laden, not Islam, not to a group of people, not to a religion. This was to one man who has inflicted so much harm against us. We need to go after him. And we need to keep telling people that this is our message. You know, we're not out there to be America's, you know, police force, or the world's police force rather. But if somebody's going to inflict harm on us and the world, we need to step up and do what we can in the fight against terrorism. So we always have to protect ourselves. That's what I believe. And you know, I think this is such a huge step in the right direction to get Osama bin Laden, because that is a wake-up call to any of these other people in Al-Qaeda that, guess what, we're going to come after you and bring you to justice.
Do you think they'll step up 10 times worse now that their big martyr is dead?
I think they're going to think long and hard about it, because if we can go in and seemingly find bin Laden, who was, for all intents and purposes, had disappeared, they're going to think, well, if I step up now and become a leader of this organization, I am now a target.
I see.
And
so you think it might have the opposite effect?
Yes.
Maybe it'll quell things a little bit.
I think initially, in my opinion, things will maybe calm down a little bit. You might have a little bit of this retaliation type activity that people are talking about. But in general, I think that people are going to say, you know, I don't want to end up like bin Laden. And that's my hope anyway.
Yeah.
That's my hope.
You talked about, you know, a lot of people may not have full closure from this. Do you think that might be because of the burial at sea? I mean, the conspiracy theorists are already talking. He's not really dead,
Right.
or he dropped dead of a heart attack,
Right.
and we're just saying we got him.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
I mean, that talk has already begun.
Sure, right.
Do you think that the burial at sea will be part of some people not having closure in this?
It could. It could very well. I think the key there was, if you did a burial on land, it could become a shrine, and then become some sort of place where Al-Qaeda and the terrorist network could go and even mobilize, and this is their place to really, you know, pay homage, if you will, to Osama Bin Laden.
Now, so you think that was the right thing to do?
I do.
Bury him at sea
I
like
think
that?
you know, obviously they followed the traditions, you know, of that practice, and
which is to bury somebody within 24 hours.
Exactly,
of their death, right?
exactly. And I think they did it in the right way. There's always going to be skeptics out there that say, you know, I want proof, and they did say they have photos. So I think if they need to, they can always say.
Yeah, I think some may be already on the internet, but I don't know how real they are.
I have heard that as well.
Yeah,
But you know what? When our president says we've got him, we've got DNA evidence, which they do, I can sleep easier at night.